English classes. As you all know, the whole world is suffering from COVID-19, and the reason is that we are suffering to have the regular classes of Standard 10. As the whole world is suffering, we are not able to give the practical classes, so we have tried to make the small effort to give you the classes through this online class. As you know, student, in Standard 10, 2 books are prescribed for CBSE. The main book, NCERT, is The First Flight, and the supplementary book is Footprints Without the Feet. Children, all of you must not have purchased the books, I know, and for this reason I am explaining you the summary. And if you have the old books, you can borrow the books from your senior students also, and you can have a reading through the chapters of the story. Because if we don't start the class, it will be little late and will not be able to cover our syllabus. So as I tell you, the first chapter of the First Flight is A Letter to God. A Letter to God is the very nice chapter written by G.L. Fuentes, by which he want to say that he had a very lot of faith in God. The main character of this story is Lencho, who is a farmer, and he has a lot of faith in the God whose crops has been destroyed, and he prays to God and he hopes that God will help him by sending him 100 pesos. Pesos is the currency. It is the currency of Latin America, and that is why this story is about Lencho only, who is a farmer who used to live alone on the top of, that is the crest of the hill. On the top of the hill, he had the house there, and it was covered all with the mountains and everything. So he was so excited because there was the crop time, and all the farmer in the village were very excited, and everyone was waiting for the rain. And they expected that as soon as the rain arrives, they will have the sufficient crop and their lives will be fulfilled with happiness. And they refer the raindrops from the sky as new coins. Finally, the day arrived. There was rain. And when they went out of the house in excitement, they saw the raindrops falling from the sky. They assumed that raindrops not as only the single drop of water, but it was the new coins for them. Everyone was very happy, excited in the village, and all of them expected that they should get a good harvest. But it did not last for a long time. After some time, there was hail. And in the beginning, when they saw the rain, the big drops were 10-cent pieces and the small drops were 5-cent pieces for them. But their excitement was not for a long time, and suddenly the hail started to fall. When there was a hail, there was hail for 1 hour, and everything in the field was destroyed, ruined, and the whole village was filled with snow. After that, when the storm had passed after 1 hour, he stood in the middle of the field and said to his son that a plague of locusts would have left more than this, but the hail has left nothing. What do you mean by locusts? Locusts is the insects which stay in groups and they destroy the fields. So the whole village became very sad, and he lost everything. He was very much depressed, and his sons also. He had his two older sons. They were also in depression. His whole family, and Lencho's thinking was that now he could not survive. He could not look after their family, and it was a great problem for him. After that, he had only one faith, and he thought that God would definitely help him. So he wanted to write a letter to God. And the day came when he took the notepad and the letter. He wrote a letter addressing to God, and he wrote a letter to God asking for the help of 100 pesos. He thought that 100 pesos would, with the 100 pesos which he get from God, he would again plant the crops and he can have that crop planting, and he can again look after his family in the same manner as it was before. So he wrote a letter to God in that faith that if anyone would help or not, there was God who would definitely would help him. So he wrote the letter and he asked for 100 pesos for help, and he wrote in the letter that his family could not survive without the money. When he wrote the letter to God, he had faith and he was every day waiting for his reply from God. And as the day passed, in the post office, the postmaster, the postman, then they saw the letter. When they saw the address on the letter, after seeing the address, all of them were shocked. They were surprised to see, because that particular envelope was addressed to God. And everyone thought that who is this man who has written a letter to God? And after that, they opened the letter in surprise that what should be in this letter. The postman took the letter to the postmaster. The postmaster also was very much in deep concern that who is the man who has written this letter to God. After that, they opened the letter envelope, and when they read out the letter, it was the help asked from God written by Lencho. The postmaster had deep faith in that man, and he did not want to break the faith of Lencho from God. So he decided that he should collect this money from his salary and the other working people in the post office, so that he could be able to collect that pesos and send it by post and keep that Lencho's faith in God as it was. As it was impossible for the postmaster to collect 100 pesos as demanded by Lencho in that letter to send him. So he tried to get his salary and from the salary of the employees. He wanted to give more than half. So they decided that they should collect at least 75 pesos and put it in the envelope and send it to Lencho in the name of God. So at last they tried to collect 70 pesos. They put it in the envelope and they addressed from God addressing to Lencho from God. The next Sunday, coming Sunday, Lencho was very excited and he came a bit earlier to the post office to see if there was any letter for him from God. As he saw the letter, he was very excited. The letter on the top written to Lencho from God. He very excitedly opened the envelope and he started counting the money. When he counted the pesos, there were only 70 pesos. And that time the faith of God made him so depressed. He thought that it would not happen, that God would not fulfill his whole demand. He was thinking that it was the fault of the postmaster and the postman who had taken the money, who had taken 30 pesos from the envelope which God had sent. And he had full faith that God must not cut the money. He would have sent total 100 pesos to him. So all the postmaster and the postman, they were looking Lencho's excitement. They thought they had the opposite feeling that Lencho would be very happy to open the envelope and get that 70 pesos. But it was just the opposite. Lencho, in spite of being happy, when he counted the pesos and he got only 70 pesos, he for that blamed the postmaster and the postman and thought that they must have taken out 30 pesos and he had full faith that God must have sent him 100 pesos. And even for this, they called the postmaster the crooked man. And because he could not believe that. And this is the ending of this letter, story, A Letter to God. I think, children, you must have understood the summary of the chapter, and it is my advice, after listening to the summary, you would go through the chapter, read the chapter, take the book, read the chapter, and try to do the NCERT questions. Thank you very much. I wish all of you must have watched this video and liked it.